Ford is laying out its vision to grow beyond its roots as an automaker. The company is focusing on new technology to help people escape from gridlock and get around crowded cities. Kris Van Cleave spoke to Bill Ford, the executive chairman and great-grandson of Henry Ford. Kris is at the North American International Auto Show in Detroit. Good morning.
Good morning. Now, this is the first day. The doors have just opened on the preview here at the Detroit Auto Show. And while there's lots of cars to talk about, there's a lot of people focusing on the future. We talked to Bill Ford about what's next for his company and the president-elect, who has been critical of Ford both on the campaign trail and on social media for building cars in Mexico. Is that good for business?
Well, I don't know if it's good or bad, but it's the reality that we are in. I actually feel like I have a very good relationship with him. You know, he's very different, as you might suspect, one-on-one than over Twitter.
As executive chairman of Ford Motor Company, Bill Ford is among the relative few who talk directly with President-elect Donald Trump on a regular basis. Do you have any concerns about a Trump presidency?
You know, look, anytime there's a transition, there's a lot of unknown. But I'm really encouraged by the dialogue that we have.
Last week, Ford scrapped plans for a new factory in Mexico to instead invest in an existing Michigan plant and add 700 jobs. Competitors General Motors and Toyota took a beating from Trump on Twitter, who threatened make in the USA or pay big border tax. Do you have concerns about that, or do you think that's just blustery talk?
Well, we'll see. I mean, I think nobody wants to start a trade war. And, you know, when I went to see him this summer, one of the things I pointed out is we've been in Mexico over 100 years. Ford has, long before NAFTA. I mean, all the way back to my great-grandfather. Part of his belief was that we should build and sell all around the world.
This morning, Ford and company CEO Mark Fields will lay out a dynamic new vision for addressing gridlock in the increasingly crowded cities of tomorrow, and how that will change Ford into a car maker and mobility company. A mix of smart technologies, electric and self-driving cars, ride-hailing apps, and car sharing. Mark, you're laying out a vision that is not as car-centric as people might think from the Ford Motor Company.
Well, from our standpoint, any good business has to have one foot in today and one foot in tomorrow. And we're looking at the societal trends of more congestion in cities and asking ourselves, what does that mean for our business? And as we expand to an auto and mobility company, it starts with cities, and that's why we're laying out our vision. Doesn't that mean also potentially making fewer cars?
Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I think that's all TBD. There'll be different kinds of cars, that's for sure. And, you know, you're still going to need to move people. You're still going to need to move things. You're still going to have work to be done by vehicles.
Ford is also announcing it's expanding its app-based ride-sharing Chariot service to 8 cities. And they're launching an industry-only, industry-first city solutions team to work with cities to address congestion individually. Gail?
All right. Thank you very much, Kris.